What's going on, folks? Lauren Sisler here with AL.com. Cole Cubelic, three-man front on Jocks Radio as well as the SEC Network, and we are going head-to-head Week 9 of the college football season. Auburn heading to Baton Rouge to take on the LSU Tigers. So, we got to get our predictions in for the week. But first, we're going to start with the matchup. And what makes this matchup so difficult? Auburn has not won in Baton Rouge 20 years. It's way up there.
1999, cigar game.
Did you play it back then?
Yeah.
So you know,
a little bit.
Did you win that game? Did you win?
I'm
Baton
undefeated
Rouge?
in Tiger Stadium.
You are?
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so we're going to get to the prediction in a minute and see if Cole thinks that maybe the streak will end in Baton Rouge. But first, key matchups we're looking at. You got Joe Burrow under center for the LSU Tigers. You got Bo Nix under center for the Auburn Tigers. So when you look at these two quarterbacks, first and foremost, they bring different juice to the table. Number one, freshman quarterback Bo Nix. Hey, he's going to really have to grow up this week. Do you think he is prepared to take on this LSU football team in that kind of environment?
I think he's prepared. He's played in Gainesville. He's played in College Station. He's played Oregon on a neutral site in Dallas, which is one of the most magnificent college football venues on the planet. So I don't think the moment or the atmosphere will be too much. Now, is it going to be loud? Mm-hmm. Heck yeah, it's going to be loud. It's going to be crazy. It'll be louder than Gainesville was, and that was loud. So is Auburn going to go fast? How much are they going to try to do at the line of scrimmage? Is communication going to be an issue? I'll just go ahead and say yes, it is. So how can you minimize that? You have to run the play that's called from the sideline or in the huddle. There can't be too much changing. There can't be too many different things that you rely on verbalizing down the line of scrimmage or to your receivers. So figure out a way to manage that. And I think he understands what it's going to be about. He gets it. He knows it. Now, it doesn't help that he's going up against a great defense. Mm-hmm. And Caleb Von Chason, Rashard Lawrence is back, Michael Divinity, Glenn Logan, and a super talented secondary with Derek Stingley and Grant Delpit and a lot of guys like Christian Fulton who can take the ball away at any moment. To me, the matchup's going to be the Auburn run game against that front seven because the LSU front seven is just now healthy with some of those guys that I mentioned, sort of back at full strength. Malzahn is 35-1 when his team runs for 250 yards or more. I don't think they can get 250, but if they get 205, 218, 220 in that range, I think that's a really good sign for Auburn that they're not putting too much on Bo Nix. Maybe slow the tempo of this game, control the clock in this game. You have to minimize the opportunities that Joe Burrow is going to have. So if he's getting 22, 24 attempts a game, try to get it down to 16, try to get it down to 14, and if you can get a turnover or two, all of a sudden that could be the difference in the game. But Auburn has to get the ground game going. We don't even know who the running back's going to be that they rely upon. We know who the candidates are,
right? But
we don't know if they're going to ride 1-2 guys, if Joey Gatewood's going to have more of a role, Bo Nix do more with his legs. I would expect all of that.
I would have to agree with you. I do think we'll see more of Joey Gatewood. I think Bo Nix is primed for this opportunity. I think they need to run the ball effectively. You hear from some of the guys like Anthony Schwartz after this last football game against Arkansas, and when this team is producing on the ground, it puts Bo Nix in a better situation to succeed. So if they can get the ground game going, obviously compete in that phase of the football game, give him some good looks. Obviously, your receivers, Anthony Schwartz obviously gets the club off his hand, right? And then Seth Williams had a great game last week. So I think that if we can get clicking on all four cylinders, and then on the backside of that, the defense, the takeaways. 2 takeaways that now is 3 all season long. So 2 takeaways last week. If they can get a good takeaway, I'm feeling it. So biggest matchup you're keying in on in this one?
I'm going to say probably the Auburn defensive line against the LSU offensive line.
Okay.
We know what Joe Burrow's done. He's the most prolific passer in college football this year. He's already set the touchdown single-season passing record at LSU. He's on pace to break Colt McCoy's record for completion percentage in a season, 79% on the year. I mean, that is insane. And they're getting Terrence Marshall back at wide receiver. So whether it's been Jefferson, whether it's been Chase, it doesn't seem to matter. Joe Burrow just finds open receivers and they make plays. Can that Auburn D-line be disruptive enough? They're going to be disruptive because the LSU offensive line's had some holes. You haven't really started your starting left tackle in Sadiq Charles the entire season. That's been a revolving door. Left guard is now rotating between Ed Ingram and Adrian McGee. And then right tackle, Austin Deckles went down in the Mississippi State game. So what's that offensive line going to look like? Is it going to be the same 5? But I think as destructive as Derek Brown and Marlon Davidson have been this year, they will be able to cause problems. It's just a matter of, is Joe Burrow going to get it out that fast? And can he continue to complete high percentage throws that his receivers turn into explosive plays? That is ultimately going to be the difference. Because I think Joe Burrow's not a guy that if you hit him, all of a sudden he's done. He's tough enough to withstand that. But You have to make him move. You have to change his arm angles. You have to get him off platform. You have to make him uncomfortable. Nobody's really done it this year. So I think that Auburn D-line has to get to Joe Burrow if they're going to have any chance to win this football game.
Yeah, and I think Auburn right now has 20 sacks on the season. LSU, on the other hand, has given up 12, which is 4th in the SEC. So that will be an interesting matchup. So it is prediction time. And drum roll, please. I always do my prediction first, but I'm going to let Cole do his prediction first. What you got?
I'm going to go 28-17 LSU. I think the Auburn defense can minimize the damage. I think they can do a little bit up front to cause Joe Burrow some confusion, make him uncomfortable. And don't forget, the Auburn secondary is still really good, and they tackle well. That's going to be the difference when you're playing a team like LSU. Take the easy throws, get the receivers on the ground. Kevin Steele has to avoid the mismatches, though. He cannot continue to have linebackers on slot receivers and guys that can just flat out outrun them. If that changes, I think he minimizes the damage, and I just don't know if the Auburn offense can consistently get enough to outscore this LSU offense. I think they can put 17 on the board, but I think LSU gets 28, and they find a way to win and continue the streak in Baton Rouge.
Yep, the streak will still stay alive. In my opinion, weather might be a contingency, might be a factor in this one as well. I'm going, not quite as big of a gap as you, 24-20, LSU winning.